Yo, what's good, y'all? It's D Brown with Trackheads, and I want to initiate a little story time for you guys. So, I'm all about my diet. I still run track. I still compete. I still all about health, fitness, all that stuff. And basically, I want to give you guys a story time about the time I gave up sugar for a year for the sake of making it to nationals. For the sake of me making it to nationals in college, I wanted to give up sugar. I'm all about, if you don't sacrifice something, how can I ask for something if I don't sacrifice something? How can I ask for, having the best season of my life if I don't sacrifice something? So my senior year of college, I decided to give up sugar and high fructose corn syrup. Story time. Let's go. So, it's the summer of my junior year heading into my senior year, and basically I analyzed the whole situation, right? Like, I was a 200 and 400 meter runner. I ran cross country that year. I was about 5'11". I was 175, but I was real bulky. Like, I was real, like, I didn't feel like good. I didn't feel like, I felt bloated, if that makes sense, and so, I really analyzed my season, which is a key thing that I think a lot of people can really do. Not just for track, but just for anything, just when you look over the scope of a whole year and see, like, the good things that you did, the bad things that you did. And that's basically what I did. I looked at the bad things, the good things, the horrible things, the things I could improve on, the things outside of my control, within my control, things I could change up for next year, things that I learned so that I don't make the same mistakes. And basically, that's what I did. And one of the things I felt like that could have been, that I felt like could aid me in my success into the next year, because I was really ambitious about making it to nationals. Like, NAIA nationals is where I wanted to go to. Just like anything, you NBA, you want to make it to the championships. MLB, you want to make it to everything. You want to make it to the highest pinnacle that you can. And for me, that was making it to nationals. So I felt like, what could I do in my power to ensure that happens? And one of the things I saw that I can do is, like, change your diet. You know what I mean? Like, it sometimes is like, it's not difficult. It's an easy decision. Just change your diet. So I was like, okay, what can I change in my diet that will make the biggest effect, right? So, shout out to my bro Kavan. If I don't know, I'm gonna be talking about Kavan pretty often. He made it to Ninja Warrior the year 2014. He was the youngest qualifier that year. Made it all the way to Las Vegas. Shout out to my boy Kavan. And basically, me and Kavan will be having these conversations about diet. The effects of sugar, the effects on sugar on emotions, the effects on sugar on just like all the bodily functions, and like how certain foods cause you to feel. So basically, we were real big on that summer, and just, previous, we'll have a lot of deep conversations, but like that year, it was like, yo, it's time to put this into action. Like, we know what sugar does. We know the negative stuff it does. We know that it could be addictive, and I don't like to be addicted to anything. I really wanted to see, like, yo, can you really keep sugar and high fructose corn syrup out my diet? And if I can, let's see what it does. So what happened to me was I started from the summer. So I also have this belief that you can't, like, whenever you're talking about diet, because I help a lot of people with diet, personal training, and coaching and all that stuff as well. So I always tell people, if you're trying to take something out of your diet, it's very important to, like, replace it with something else. That's a key thing. That's a nice little tip. If you're taking something out your diet, you have to replace it with something else. So for me, if I'm taking sugar out my diet, I thought it would be very important to replace it with something else. So what I personally did was, I told myself, no more sugar, no more candy. Really, candy is the big one. I have a sweet tooth, so I said no more candy, no more high fructose corn syrup. What can I put in its place, right? And what I found I could put in its place is hummus. So I decided, instead of spending, I love Haribo candies, or Haribo, however you say it. I'll say Haribos. Instead of, like, just taking out Haribos, Twizzlers, Swedish Fish, like Lifesavers, and instead of taking out all that stuff, Mike and Ike's, I said, take out that stuff, but replace it with hummus. Replace it with something healthy. So what I did was I put hummus in my diet. I put pita bread in my diet. Every time I crave sugar and candy, I'll replace it with hummus and pita bread, right? I also replaced high fructose corn syrup juices. I replaced it with a new no high fructose corn syrup alternative of juice. It's like an all natural juice. It's a little bit more expensive, but I figured the money that I was saving with the reoccurring purchases of being addicted to candy, that I would purchase like Haribo, gummy bears every single day. $1 times 7 in a week, $7. I could buy 2 juices for that and make it stretch for the whole time. So I would just be thinking ahead. Like instead of just complaining about, oh, I have a sweet tooth, or no, just take the money that you would spend on candy and put it to something that's healthy. So, I started over the summer with that. So I basically was mastering it over the summer. Those first, that first like week was crazy. I can only imagine how crack addicts feel getting off of crack, heroin addicts getting off heroin. Like it was, oh my gosh, it was like any side of candy I just wanted to demolish. Like it was ridiculous. Like I was having withdrawals, headaches. I was feeling irritable. Like my diet was all messed up. So that's the one thing I really had to be conscious of. Like that first maybe 2 to 3 weeks was like horrible. But after that, it just, it slowly, became a habit. I think they say the first 21 to 28 days is how you form a habit. So those first 21 to 28 days, I felt pretty good about myself, with keeping that out of my diet and stuff. So, I think that was May. So May, June, June started. I kept on training, kept on doing my thing, and the diet persisted. And next thing you know, I started losing weight. So I started losing weight. I don't know where I was losing it. I wasn't like big before. I was still, I was still staying in shape. I understand like it's the summertime. Sometimes you lose a little bit of weight, but I was losing like a lot of weight. And that I think it's because of the diet, because I kept the sugar out my diet and stuff. So I continued losing weight. I just started feeling really, really great. I was able to think better. I was able to, like memorize. I started learning new skills. I started reading a lot more. I started doing a lot of just, I was able to think a whole lot more clear without the sugar and without the high fructose corn syrup in my diet. And basically my weight went from like 175 to like 165 by the end of the summer. Now this is a combination of, my diet, my regular, like not just my sugar. My sugar wasn't just taken out of my diet. High fructose corn syrup wasn't just taken out of my diet. But also, I started running a whole lot more too. So that had a little bit of influence in it. But overall, the effects where I was losing weight, I was feeling better. I was feeling less, I was feeling less cloudy. I was feeling less bloated. Like I have abs. I have a pretty strong core. But I just felt really, really solid. Even like being lighter, I felt solid. So when I went into like the new season, my senior year, without the cloudiness, so without the bloatiness, without the addiction of sugar, like I just felt really, really liberated, heading into that season. So, fast forward into the season and stuff, I maintained it. It was kind of hard. I do admit that I kind of slipped up with like some of the, like not with the sugar, but with the high fructose corn syrup, because sometimes it's just inevitable. A lot of the things that are in our foods, like, it's almost impossible unless you grow your own food. Like for example, I would be having something like pancakes and not even thinking I'm gonna put syrup on my pancakes, and I look at the back of the bottle and it has high fructose corn syrup in it. Or I'll be looking at, I was doing pretty well with water and juice, but like, when I'm in my the calf, because I was still in college, I would go to the calf, and the juice that they would serve, there's no alternative. Like there's no natural juice, there's no sweet tea, there's no like natural alternative with like for like juice. It will only be high fructose corn syrup or soda. Like high fructose corn syrup juice, like Kool-Aid or soda. And it's like those are the only alternatives that I have. I mean, they was really like the water was like not even good in terms of like cleanly. So it had like stuff in it and stuff. So that's a whole nother story. But my point is that I tried my best when it came to the high fructose corn syrup stuff. But I think still, because I had so much, I would stay so consistent before that, it didn't really affect me at all. So like I said, heading into the season, I was able to just think clearly, and I was in such great shape heading into that year. And so even when I got injured, I I didn't stay injured for long. I was able to bounce back, and I think that's a big thing because of my diet. Um, like there were certain things, like here's a perfect example. Like the school I went to was in East Texas, but I originally I live in Atlanta. So like before that, when I took that 10-hour drive by myself, I would have to take like 5-hour energy drink, or I would just be super tired going throughout the whole trip. I could make the trip, but it would just be tiresome. When I was off sugar, like when I took sugar completely out of my diet, I could make that trip in one sitting, not tired, without 5-hour energy drink, without anything, just music. And I was just like, I don't know why. Like I don't know what the effect was, why I was able to do that. It's kind of like in the absence of sugar, my system like flushed it all out, and it was really really efficient. It's almost like sugar puts you on a like high, and then it crashes you back down to put you on a high again to crash you back down. So yeah, that was my experience with taking sugar out of my diet, taking high fructose corn syrup out of my diet. I always had pretty nice skin, but sometimes if I have too much sugar, I can notice it on my skin. I didn't break out or anything, but it's just like your skin kind of feels different, or maybe I'll get a pimple or two. Also, like I said, with track and field athletes, I know diet wise, sugar is like a big acidic. Like it's very it promotes inflammation. So that's not good for like your stomach. It's not good for your insides and just being healthy and stuff. You really want to be natural. You really want to be on that alkaline side. So for all my really healthy people out there, so sugar, like I said, when I took it out my diet, I just felt really good. My skin was good. My skin was cleansed. My teeth were looking good. Like everything, my hair, everything was just looking real good. Actually, that year was when I grew all this stuff. So I've had it ever since. So I don't know. Like I guess sugar makes you grow beards or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's just my little short tale about the time that I took out sugar and high fructose corn syrup out my diet. Like I said, it was one of the best decisions. Do I still eat sugar now? Of course, I love candy. That was like 3 years ago. Now I'm still back on the candy train, but one thing I really do, I manage it properly. Like today I had Twizzlers. But I don't go and have 14 bags of Twizzlers. Like you have to keep it balanced. When I feel like I'm going off the deep end and the candy's starting to get a little bit too much, then I back off and I let my body process it, get it out of my system, and then I may indulge in it again if I so choose. And like I said, I'm different. I'm a little bit different compared to, for those of you who are athletes, like it's a little bit easier to have those cheat days because you actually work out. You have those times in which you can do that. So I don't know. Let me know at the bottom if you ever try taking sugar out your diet. If you ever try taking high fructose corn syrup out your diet. I know it's pretty hard. What are the difficulties that you faced when you decided to take it out your diet? What were some of the benefits that you saw? For me, it was my skin, my body weight. I think my fat. I don't know what kind of fat I had on my body. I was pretty lean, but I lost weight. So what are some of the things that you noticed when you took sugar out your diet? Let me know at the bottom. And until then, this was my story time about sugar and high fructose corn syrup. I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, let me know your experiences down below and subscribe and do all that good stuff, all right? This is D Brown with Track Hits. Peace.